U.S. trade reps are forbidden from seeing the texts. And while there's over 600 corporate advisors helping draft the legislation, there's virtually zero transparency to the public. What a shock. So to talk about the lighter side of this issue and bring some levity to the most recent news headlines, I'm joined by comedian and political activist Lee Camp from Moment of Clarity.
Who better to explain a trade deal than a comedian?
Well, you have a new show, which is great too.
I do. It's not as nice as this place you have here. This is great.
It's getting there.
And I don't know how you do that walk and talk thing. I can't handle that.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Come on. So let's talk about the TPP. I mean, are you surprised at how shady this is, Lee?
It's incredibly shady, and what makes it so evil is boredom. Boring evil is the best kind because they get away with because I mean, if you try to like talk to someone about this, you get to the Pacific part of Trans-Pacific Partnership and they pass out in their soup. Like you can't. We're seeing a global corporate coup because of Honey Boo Boo. Like that's what's causing it. Like people can't stay on that channel.
Right. Trade is probably the most boring subject, and it really is a corporate coup. I mean, we're talking about corporations, international conglomerates, implementing international courts to essentially override national sovereignty and our trade laws. I mean, it's just absurd.
And if they don't get the profits they seek, they can then bring it to an international tribunal of like corporate judges, which was what the bad guys did in Star Wars. Like we're now to Star Wars level evil.
And I'm sad that I even know this, but, you know, Honey Boo Boo eating mayonnaise for dinner is more important. And I don't even know why I know that.
Is that what she does? That's the thing. Celebrity culture. It gets in your head. And the thing is, celebrity culture, it's got to make room. So it kicks things like TPP out, and then and math. You lose TPP and math, so you don't understand anything. You just know that Honey Boo Boo ate mayonnaise. That's where you're left.
Oh my God, let's talk about the economy. Recently, Dow Jones hit an all-time high, of course. I mean, we're doing so well, right? Economically.
That means everything's fine.
Everything's great. I mean, corporate profits rising exponentially 20 times faster than workers' incomes. I mean, doesn't a healthy corporation mean a healthy economy?
Yeah, we're all set. We did it. People are skipping through unicorns or whatever people do when they're happy. I don't know. But it's like New York City just announced the homeless numbers. Apparently, the most homeless since the Great Depression. And I don't know if people remember that one. That was the one where people had to burn prosthetic limbs as firewood because things weren't going so well. So the most homeless in decades, and yet corporate profit, because corporations, they measure their profits by how little they can pay workers. So there's such a bad job market right now that they don't have to raise wages. They don't have to give people benefits. So basically, it's like measuring the health of an ant colony by the health of the anteater standing over it. It's like, oh, well, he's doing pretty well, so things must be fine.
But Lee, I mean, come on, $8 minimum wage, that's enough to live. I mean, especially in New York.
Yeah, I saw
a
number that if the income, the power of the dollar had stayed the same, not just inflation, but the income distribution had stayed the same since 1968, that $1 and like 16 cent or 60 cent minimum wage would now be $21. But instead it's $8. And I think like this should be common sense. Like, I don't care if you have the worst job. If you work full time, you should be able to feed and clothe your kids. I mean, first of all, it's the moral thing to do. And secondly, with the size of our kids, none of us want to see them half clothed, right?
Kids eating mayonnaise for dinner. How the hell are you supposed to?
None of us want to see them half clothed. None of us. None of us want to see a 10-year-old boy's chest bouncing up and down. It's horrible. Can't we get together as a society and buy that boy some pasties or something?
Let's go over the Rand Paul 13-hour talking filibuster, you know, the eating chocolate, the Ted Cruz rapping. I mean, what do you think about it?
I love this. I think we should go back to that. I want to, not just this little vote, do we have the votes for a filibuster? I want to see them stand there and talk and pee in a bottle or whatever it is. That's how it should work. And really the story around this should be the fact that one Democrat stood up.
Isn't that amazing?
One Democrat. Yeah. Our government saying they can assassinate American citizens on our soil with no trial or charges, and one Democrat has the nads to stand up. Like that's mind-blowing. I mean, and it's the same with NDAA and indefinite detention. Like this, and people think this is only for hardcore terrorists. Like it says in the bill, you could be locked away forever with no trial or charges for suspected acts of belligerence. Yeah, that's all I do. That's all we do. That's our career. My talents are being belligerent, cantankerous, and I knit little doilies of cats. That's the only other thing I have.
And even Brennan's response to him was saying, oh no, only in times of combat would we kill Americans on U.S. soil. And you're like, what the hell are you defining as combat? Right. What the hell are you defining as combatant? Anything. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I really wanted to get into so much more.
This war that is going on forever, right? The war on terror, the war on emotion.
It's a war on tactics.
It tears in emotion. You know, know, when is that going to end? When are people going to stop being scared?
Never, Lee. That's why you exist, and that's why we're trying to shed some light.
Until we get locked away forever.
Until the NDA is in effect. Lee Camp, comedian, political activist, Moment of Clarity web series. Everyone check it out.
Thanks.